I think there is a massive difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. At the time of this recording, Jake Paul just secured his biggest win to date when he dominated Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And before that, he knocked out Mike Tyson in what was the most watched boxing event in recent history. But here's what people don't understand. They think this fight is a joke, and they think Tank would destroy him in 2 rounds, but I'm here to tell you that when this fight happens, it's not going to be close, and Jake Paul is going to win. Let me explain why. So first, let me say this, before everyone loses their minds in the comments. Yes, I know Tank is the more accomplished boxer. Yes, I know he's undefeated. And yes, I know he's fought actual elite competition, but boxing fans need to understand something. Size matters, weight matters, and reach matters. And in this case, it matters more than people want to admit. Let's go over some basic stats first. Jake Paul stands at 6'1" with a 76-inch reach and will weigh in at a limit of 195 pounds. He's got a record that people love to criticize, but he's shown legitimate power, and he's been training with real coaches for years now. Gervonta Davis, on the other hand, stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch reach and fights at 135 to 140 pounds, but will probably weigh in at more like 150 to 160 pounds for this fight. That's an 8-inch height difference and a 9-inch reach difference. But here's the crazy part. The weight difference will be absolutely massive. We're talking about potentially a 50-pound difference on fight night. Now, I know what you're thinking. Tank has faced bigger guys before. He moved up to 140. He fought Mario Barrios, who was naturally bigger, but here's the thing. Barrios was drained making 140, and even then, he was maybe 155 on fight night. Jake Paul on fight night would be pushing 200 pounds. That's not just a weight class difference. That's an entire fucking small human worth of difference. Let's talk about Tank's resume because, yes, it's impressive. He's fought across 3 weight classes. He's beaten Leo Santa Cruz, Isaac Cruz, Raleigh Romero, Mario Barrios. These are legit fighters. But here's what people don't talk about. Tank has never fought anyone even close to Jake Paul's size. We've never seen Tank deal with that kind of size disadvantage because, frankly, it would be insane to even try it at those weight classes. Now let's talk about Jake Paul and why people underestimate him so badly. Yes, he started fighting YouTube creators. Yes, his early opponents were carefully selected, but if you actually watch his progression, he's gotten significantly better with each fight. His fundamentals have improved. His power is clearly real. He flatlined Tyron Woodley. He dropped Anderson Silva. These are guys who have been in real fights. Jake's not just some YouTuber anymore. He's been training full-time for 5 years with legitimate coaches like BJ Flores and Danny Van every single day. Here's what Jake Paul brings to this fight that people ignore. He's got legitimate one-punch knockout power at this weight. We've seen it multiple times. His right hand is a real weapon, and at cruiserweight, that power is devastating. He's also got a really solid jab that he uses well to maintain distance. His footwork has improved dramatically if you watch his recent fights, and he's shown he can go rounds. He went 8 rounds with Tommy Fury in a competitive fight. His conditioning is legitimate. But the biggest advantage Jake Paul has is just pure physics. Tank's power comes from his technique and timing. It's elite level power for 135 to 140 pounds, but when you're hitting a guy who's 200 pounds with the bone density and muscle mass of a cruiserweight, that power doesn't translate the same way. It's basic physics. A 140-pound fighter generating power for his weight class is not going to have the same effect on a 200-pound fighter. It just doesn't work that way. On the flip side, Jake Paul's power is generated from a much larger frame, with much more mass behind it. When Jake lands clean on Tank, it's going to be like nothing Tank has felt before. We're not talking about getting hit by Leo Santa Cruz or Raleigh Romero. We're talking about getting hit by someone 60 pounds heavier with all that weight behind every punch. Now let's talk about Tank's advantages because he does have them. His speed is elite level. His timing and counterpunching are some of the best in boxing. His power pound for pound is incredible, and his ring IQ is off the charts. He knows how to break fighters down. He knows how to time them, and he knows how to land that perfect shot. But here's the problem. All of those advantages require him to get inside and land clean on a guy who has 8.5 inches of reach on him. Think about it like this. Tank's whole game is built on timing guys coming in, countering them, and landing that perfect left hand or uppercut. But Jake Paul isn't going to be coming in recklessly. Jake's going to be behind that jab, using his reach, controlling distance, and making Tank come to him. And every time Tank tries to get inside, he's going to be eating jabs and straight rights from a guy who's 60 pounds heavier. I've seen people compare this to when Roy Jones Jr. moved up to heavyweight to fight John Ruiz, but that's not the same thing. Roy was naturally a light heavyweight moving moving up one division. This would be like if Roy tried to fight at middleweight his whole career and then jumped up to heavyweight. It's just too much. And here's another thing people don't consider. Tank has never been hit by someone with Jake's power. We don't know how his chin holds up at that weight disadvantage. Tank's been hurt before. Isaac Cruz landed some good shots on him. Raleigh caught him a few times. His chin is good for 135 to 140, but we have no idea if it holds up against a cruiserweight power puncher. Terrence Crawford gives a perfect breakdown of the size difference.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. Jake too big for Tank. He's way too big for Tank. Like, Tank is very talented, punch hard, explosive. Jake can punch with that right hand. Like, I seen him, up close in person. Like, dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch.
If you had to choose someone to win that fight, who do you think wins?
Honestly, I think Jake by youth. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Do you think he can hit him though? With how fast? Yeah.
Let me give you a realistic breakdown of how this fight goes. Jake comes out behind his jab, keeps Tank at distance. Tank tries to close the distance, but he's eating jabs and straight rights the whole way in. Maybe Tank lands some good body shots in close. Maybe he even hurts Jake to the body. But the cumulative damage of eating power shots from a guy 60 pounds heavier starts to add up. By the middle rounds, Tank's face is marked up. He's getting tired from carrying the fight and trying to get inside. And eventually Jake lands something clean. Maybe it's a right hand, maybe it's an uppercut as Tank's coming in, but when it lands, Tank goes down, and he doesn't get back up because he's never been hit by anything like that before. Now, I know this sounds crazy to hardcore boxing fans, but size matters more than skill when the gap is this big. We've seen it throughout boxing history. When the size difference gets too extreme, skill can only compensate so much. And this isn't a 1 or 2 weight class difference, this is like 5 weight classes. From the sounds of this video, it sounds like I'm a Tank hater, but I'm not. I actually think Tank is one of the most exciting fighters in boxing right now. Pound for pound, he's elite. His highlight reel is incredible, but there are levels to size and weight, and Jake Paul is just too big, too strong, and too heavy for Tank to deal with. Will this fight be huge? Absolutely. Will it get millions of viewers? Probably. But will it be competitive? I really don't think so. I think Jake stops Tank somewhere between rounds 4 and 7, and it's not even close. Personally, I'd love to see Tank fight Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson, or give a rematch to Roach. Those are the fights that make sense for him, fights where the size is comparable and we can actually see skill versus skill. As for Jake Paul, he should be fighting actual cruiserweights or light heavyweights, guys like Tommy Fury in a rematch, or even Canelo if he really wants to prove himself against an elite boxer. What do you guys think? Do you think Tank's skill overcomes the size, or do you think Jake's just too big? Again, personally, I don't think it will be close. I think the size difference is just too massive for Tank to overcome, no matter how skilled he is.